Hello! Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show you how to create a spiral. In this case, I'll just show you how to draw a square spiral. Okay, so let's kind of reason through this. Okay, so what we have here is, let's say we want to create something like this on Scratch. Okay, so let's think first about how we created a square, right? So when we created a square, usually we had something like this, and we're moving a certain amount of steps a certain way, and we're going to turn 90 degrees each time. We're going to use that same idea for this particular example. Okay, so let's say we were to make a square. So one way to think about this is, let's say we were to go in this direction, and then we move like one step or something. So if a square were created, basically a square would all have a side of one length each, right? So what we have is, if I were to just draw this here, we have a square, one side here, one side here, one side here. Let's say that on the next part here, so let's say, first let's draw the sprite actually. So this is the sprite, and it's moving one step in that direction. So now the new placement of the sprite would be here, and then I have to turn 90 degrees to go this way. Okay. Next, what we need to do is we need to go and figure out how many steps you want it to go this way. So one way I can think about it is like, well, this thing looks a little bit longer than this here. So maybe this, let's say this is like 2 units longer. Yeah, it's units. Let's say it's just 2 units long. So what we have here, you're wondering, so this length is going to be 1 plus 2. And 1 plus 2 means that we're going 3 units. Yep. Next, let's say we were to go more on the spiral. We're moving one length, as you can see here. And then what we can do is, let's say we were to add more length to this spiral. So we added 2 originally, so we can add 2, and then we can add 2 again. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5. So that means our new length here is going to be 5. Let's say we were to continue and then do the same thing. Basically, we're going 1 unit up, and then afterward we're going to go to 2. So we're just gradually getting bigger, 2, 2, 2, and so forth. So this means when we're adding this, we're going a length of 7. Okay? And we can keep doing this process over and over again, but let's see if you can see a pattern. So we see a little pattern that I just showed you. Basically, we went 1 unit the first time. Then when we come around, we're going 3 units. Then we're going 5 units. And then we're going 7 units. So as you can see, each time we're changing this original length by 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and kind of write out what we're doing. Okay, so what we need to do is we're setting our initial length. So actually, wait, hold on. Before I do that, let me just go ahead and delete all those things, just so you can kind of see what we were doing, right? So basically, what we have is we went 1 step this way, then we went 3, then we went 5, and then 7, and then, oh, sorry, bad drawing. And then this one we went 9, and then this one would go 11. Okay, so something like this. So let's think about this. We are setting our initial length here. This is our initial length. So set initial length equal to 1. We're setting our initial length equal to 1. As you can see, as we're going through the program, we're adding 2 each time. So every time we're repeating this process, we're adding 2 each time. So what we need in Scratch is we need a variable, and that variable is going to be called length. which means that we need to change, okay, we need to change the length by 2. So if you see where I'm getting at, we need a set variable and we need a change variable. We need a set variable and we need a change variable, and that change variable says we're going to change the length by 2. Okay? Try to keep that in mind as we go ahead and create the program. So let's go ahead and try. Okay, so what I see is that we can go ahead and just start with what we usually start off with, right? So start with the green flag. When the green flag is clicked, something happens. Let's try to go ahead and let's just use this, I guess. Go to 0, 0. We're going to actually, wait, no, wait. We're going to point, where is it? Point in the direction 90 degrees. Yep. And then what we want to do is we also want to get our pen extension, right? So what we can do with that pen extension, if you guys forgot how to get there, we're going to click the bottom left. Bottom left here, we're going to click pen. And then what we need to do is we can go ahead and start off with what we had, what I showed you in class, right? Erase all, and then we're going to put the pen down. Okay, so that's kind of what we can generally start off with. The reason why I put 0, 0 is because we're going to create, our goal is to try to create a spiral, so we need a lot of space. Okay, all right, so next what we need to do then is actually, well, first what I want to do is I want to make the sprites smaller. So if you don't know how to make the sprite smaller, I can go to looks. So where I went from the pen and I went all the way to looks. So if I go all the way to looks, I want to set the size. Let's say I want to set the size really small, maybe like 20. If I just click this, then the cat is really small. Maybe we'll try 40 or something. Kind of small, too small. So 40, something like that. Okay. And then we don't need to put that in the program. It's just for aesthetic, or just so it looks smaller. Okay. Now let's think about what we need. Okay. I'm going to actually continue this in the next video. And I'll see you soon. Okay, bye. All right. So let's continue where we left off. Okay. So let's think about what we need. So let's go back to the picture. Let's go back to this picture here. We need to set our initial length to 1. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go to the variables here, and we need to go ahead and create a variable called length. We need to create a variable called length. So let's go ahead and do that. Creating a variable called length. We will need the checkbox. We can actually get rid of it. Okay, so what we can do, what I see what we can do, we can start off is we can put this set underneath here. We're going to set our initial length to 1. So that's what we started off with. Okay, and we also know that for a square, right? So basically, for a square, as you can see, where is okay, here it is. So for a square is 4 sides, right? Since it's 4 sides, we need to repeat this process. We can start by repeating it 4 times, and then what we need next, as you can see, is we need to change the length by 2. Okay, so in order to change the length by 2, first we need to put this in here. We're going to move it a certain amount of steps based on our length. So we're going to use the variable that we used earlier. So this says we're going to move originally 1 step. Then what we need to do is, in order to make our square, we're going 360 divided by 4. So that means we need to go 90 degrees. And then what we need to do, as I showed you earlier, we need to change the length by 2. So in order to change the length by 2, we're going to use our change variable. So we're changing the length by 2. So let's go ahead and click the green flag and see what happens. So, ooh, it's a little small. You can't really see what happens. Let's see if we can go ahead and change some of these things. Let's see if we change it to like maybe 20. Like, because we only saw it, it's actually... yeah, it's a little bit hard to see. Let's see for a green flag. See? It's starting to create a spiral. A square spiral. Let's say I were to change it to like 50 or something. And whoa, isn't that cool? I can change it, I can even make it 100, and then it gets really crazy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that is one way you can go ahead and create a square spiral. Okay, let's say though we want to make this program even better. Okay, let's say we want to modify it. Let's say we want to make it more user friendly. We want to generalize this more. So that's why I kind of wanted to go over that in class. Let's say we want to generalize this more, make it more flexible for the user. Let's say the user doesn't want to use one length, right? Let's say he wants to make it any length, okay? So in order to make the user have it say any length, what we can do is we can have the cat ask us what length to put in. So I can just put this right here, and I can put something like enter the length of each side, and then we're setting the length to whatever we put. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. So if I press the green flag here, enter the length of each side. Let's say I want to start off with a length of 5, and as you can see, it's hard to see actually, but it's actually start off with a longer length. Let's try something a little bit bigger. Let's try enter length of each side. Let's try like 25. And now if we press enter, there we go. So as you see, his starting space is a little bit bigger than what we saw earlier. If I tried 50, right? It's gonna get bigger. If I tried like 75 or something, it's gonna start off like that, as you can kind of see. Okay, so pretty neat things that are happening with this program so far. Okay, I'm going to cut this off and I'm going to continue next what else we can do with this. Okay, hello. All right, so let's think about what else we can do with this program. So let's say that we don't want to create square spirals, but let's say we want to create other shapes besides square spirals. So this is where this comes into play. So you remember that program that we did the other day, right? So if we press the space bar and we have a generic shape generator, right? So if you guys didn't figure this out, I'm going to give you the answer now. So this is where this comes in. So if you didn't figure out how many degrees this turns, right? So we can put this right here. And this is just basically 360 divided by the number of sides. Okay, let's go ahead and try run this so we know what we're doing. Okay, into number of sides of this polygon, let's say it's 5 sides, into length of each side is maybe like 100. Okay, that's how it's working. Into number of sides 6, maybe 50. Yeah, cool, it is working. Into number of sides, it is going to have 8 sides, maybe it's going to be like 50. So that's how we are creating our octagon and other shapes. Okay, so let's put this side by side next to this program. Let's put it side by side next to this program, and let's say we want to try modify this so we can make it even more generic and more user friendly. So let's say we didn't want to create a square spiral, we want to create other shapes. Okay, so what we can do is we can go ahead and have the user. So what we have is, because our original program is only programmed to create square spirals. Okay, so we can go ahead and modify this. Kind of think about what we did with this, right? So we need a new variable, and that new variable is going to be called sides. Oh, I see what happened. You see, I copy pasted this here, and then it automatically created variables called sides. If you didn't create a variable called sides, go ahead and click OK. But anyway, we already have a variable called sides. So let's go ahead and modify this. So what we need is we need to put this underneath here, and we need another set sides. So what we need to do is enter the number of sides of this polygon, into number of sides of this polygon. We need to change this. We need to change this here. Don't forget this. So we're changing the sides to whatever our answer is. So sorry I didn't do that earlier. I should have, that's just me being lazy. Make sure you change that length to sides in order to get sides there, okay? And then what we need to do is, if we want to make it generic, we need to go ahead and put this here. Go ahead and duplicate this. And basically, this comes right here, okay? So let's go ahead and try this. So actually, we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. Let's go ahead and just kind of, actually I don't want to delete it. I'm just going to put it on the side, and I'm only going to zoom in on what we have here. Okay, so let's say we want to enter number of sides of this polygon, and let's say we want to do a pentagon. And the length of each side, we want to make it user friendly. Let's try with 10. And look at that. Look at that right there. We have created a spiral pentagon. Yeah. And let's see. Let's try this. Let's try 6. And length of each side, we can go like 5 or something. Yeah. So see here? We have created now a spiral hexagon. Okay. Let's go ahead and try other shapes. Okay. Let's say we try something like this. An octagon. And then we try that. As you see, it's getting bigger and bigger. Something funny happens. So something funny happens here. So the reason why with that is it's the dimensions of Scratch are not big enough, so it can kind of make it like that. So I mean, it's too big. So that's why it's just kind of messing up. So one way that we could fix this actually is we could go ahead and use that. Remember that repeat until that I showed you? Actually, well, some of you in the green period, you might not see that repeat until lesson until Wednesday, but we can use a repeat until actually. So this program, let's say instead of repeating 100 times, we're going to have it repeat until. We're going to have it repeat until basically what we have here is, let's say we can have it when the sprite here is going to be touching the edge. So when the sprite is touching the edge, then it's just going to stop. So let's put that in there now. Let's try this. Okay, enter the number of sides of the polygon. Let's try 8. Enter the length of each side. Let's say like 10. And as you see, it stops. So it knows now where to stop. Okay, so let's try out some of these other things. Let's say we tried a triangle, right? And length of each side, maybe we try like 3. Okay. Whoa. See, and it just does that forever and ever and ever until it hits an edge. Until it hits an edge. That is so cool. All right. Let's see. Enter number of sides. We can try 4. Enter length of each side. We can try maybe, I don't know, 5. So it's going to try create this, and it's going to just create this forever and ever and ever and ever, and then it hits the edge, and then it stops. It just doesn't go any further. Enter number of sides. Let's try maybe like 6. And then enter length of each side. Let's try like 4. And now we have this hexagon, and it's just going to stop there. So now the program knows where to stop. Okay? Now, there's a little bit more that we can do with this, and we can make it look even more cool. This is all for just for art pleasure, I guess. So what we can do is, we can do this. We can change the pen color. If we change the pen color, we can put that right here, and we can make it look even more cool. So 4 sides, enter length, be like 5. Look at the pretty colors. Look at the pretty colors. Whoa, crazy, yeah? Let's go ahead and try. Enter number of sides. It's 5. Enter the length of each side. Let's try like 20. Yeah. Look at that. We got our cool little colors here. We can change this pen color. We can change it instead of like 10. We can make it like 5. We can try some of these things like enter number of sides. Let's try 10-sided figure. Start with 1. Whoa! Yeah. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so you can modify this however you want. It's just it's very generic and very user friendly. Okay. Let me see if that was everything I needed to cover. Let me just see, just looking at this. I believe that is it. Okay, sounds good. All right, and that is wondering, if you're wondering how to create spirals in Scratch. Don't forget to press the orange share button so I can see your program. Okay. And don't forget to save it as well. And it saved automatically. Don't forget to save it. And that is basically it. Okay. So please let me know if you have any questions. And that is it. Okay. Bye.